Hi, my name is Sonali and you're watching Sonali the Endless River. This is Sonali Reads episode 3. So we have reached the third week of book review series, which is an amazing thing for myself who is a non-reader. And thank you so much for supporting me throughout this journey so far. A lot more books to be read and a lot more books to be reviewed. Today's book is a very special book. It is Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club. Here it is. The foundation of the book teaches us why each one of us should wake up at 5 a.m. And I was wondering that how can a person write an entire 300 plus pages book on that one concept that you should wake up at 5 a.m. And it took me, I really struggled to complete the entire book because each page had so many things to consume, so many things to learn, so many new knowledge. I had to struggle to complete the book on time so I could review it, and before reviewing it I had to take some notes because the book is beautifully made. It is in a story format, and within the story the book comprises of several quotes, I could not possibly count how many quotes the book has. Presented in a very beautiful manner, in a conversational tone. The book has, charts and diagrams and theory and scientific backup and everything that all the types of information for each and every kind of reader. Robin Sharma made sure that the book reaches all types of audiences and that his concepts are accepted by each person in their own way. Before we go ahead to the main section of our review, which is actually sharing the concepts of the book, I'll just give you a brief overview of the story. So the story has 4 central characters. One is the spellbinder who comes up with this morning ritual on which the book is based on. So it is his teaching inside the book. Second is the billionaire who is mentored by the spellbinder and following his rituals has actually taken his company to the $1 billion mark. Now then comes 2 main characters. One is a lady entrepreneur who has spent most of her lifetime building up her own company, but now her investors are trying to kick her out of her own company, and she is frustrated and depressed to the point that she wants to commit suicide. And the 4th character is an artist. He's a painter, but he is suffering from procrastination. He's suffering from creative fatigue, and he just can't come up with more ideas. He just can't create any more art. So the story revolves around these 3 characters, who is the artist, the entrepreneur, and the billionaire, attending an event of the spellbinder. So over there, all 3 of them, first it starts with the both of them, like the entrepreneur and the artist. Mind you, nobody knows each other. Like the artist and the entrepreneur don't know each other, so they attend the event and they see the spellbinder. They consume whatever he says, and they're very impressed with it. Then comes the character of the billionaire who is dressed up as a homeless man inside this event, and he comes up to these 2 people and kinda tries to befriend them. At first they don't want to be his friend, but then he actually says that I am just dressed up as homeless, but I'm a billionaire, and I can teach you a lot of things that I have learned from my mentor, who is eventually the spellbinder. The story reveals later that I've learned from my mentor, and applying those things, my life has changed drastically. So I want to invite you guys to my private island and blah blah blah. You come and all the expenses are covered by me, and then I'll teach you. So at first they are skeptical, but then they come along. So each morning they meet at 5 a.m. The concepts of the story are covered around 4 cities, which is first they go to Mauritius, then they go to, I think, South Africa. First they go to Mauritius, then they go to India, Taj Mahal, then they go to Rome, then South Africa, and in between they go to Brazil. So inside the entire story, he keeps on sharing his concepts, and sometimes the spellbinder also comes and shares his concepts. like the core values which he has actually taught the billionaire. And throughout the story, you'll see that eventually the artist and the entrepreneur, who are poles apart, fall in love with each other, get married, and have a wonderful life after they start actually practicing the morning ritual, which is the 5 a.m. ritual. And life just turns around like that for them. So this is the overview of the story. All right. So it's a big book. It's a huge book. It's a beautiful book. I really don't know how many of you guys will get the time to read it, or how many of you guys will actually read it, but which is why I take you forward to the next section of this review, which is actually sharing the core concepts of the book. So grab your notepads or watch this video again, because you're gonna need it. So the book starts off with the concept that a lot of people these days are concerned about how they look. Like, to the society, they want to have rich clothes, they want to have expensive shoes, and they just want to look the part. But very few people actually spend that much time in developing themselves, in developing their nature, their skills, their habits, which will eventually lead them to a better life. So he says that the poor invest money, but the rich invest time. And there are so many beautiful quotes, in the book. One of which says that victims own TVs, victors own a library. What he means by sharing this concept is that all the legendary people of the world have a habit, have a routine where they wake up early in the morning when the whole world sleeps, when nobody knows what they are doing. At that time they are struggling, at that time they are grinding, they are practicing their craft. And those hours of solitude, those hours of planning and hard work when the entire world is asleep, those hours of loneliness and peace, those hours are actually what makes them a legend, not the things that we actually see. If you want to be successful in something or the other, you have to spend a chunk of your time practicing your art. And by practicing, and not only practicing your art, you have to have a solid habit base, a solid routine, a solid daily routine to make you that dedicated, to make you that disciplined. So how do we go about that routine? This is what we're going to learn throughout this video. Now let's start with the rules of the 5 a.m. club. Since you now will become a 5 a.m. club member, you should know what rules we have in this club. The first rule is no distractions. Addiction to distraction is the end of your creative production. I know, pretty complicated. All in all, it says that if you keep on getting distracted, you will never be able to be creative and you will never be able to produce. So no distractions. Number 2, no excuses. You have to make small daily improvements which will eventually turn into weekly, monthly and yearly improvements. Number 3, you have to put in consistent practice for a habit to become automatic. Number 4, to have what the top 5% have, you have to do what the 95% are not willing to do. And rule number 5, the most important rule. When you feel like surrendering, continue. Now let's go ahead with the next concept. He explains something which is called the 2x, 3x mindset, which means that to double your income and your impact, which we all want, which means if we want to earn more money, if we want to impact, inspire and touch more people, we need to do this 2x, 3x mindset. So in order to double your income and impact, you need to triple down in 2 core areas: personal mastery and professional capability, which means you need to improve your habits as a person and you need to improve your skills as a professional. Now let's go forward with the 3-step success formula. Better daily awareness leads to better daily choices, which eventually leads to better daily results. Which means that when you wake up early in the morning, your mind becomes more aware. When your mind becomes more aware, you then make better choices. And it's your choices who eventually dictate how you're going to have the result. Now, the most interesting concept in the book which I've learned is about two types of brains. So he says that we all have two types of brains. One is the ancient brain and one is the mastery brain. Now, the ancient brain is the old school brain, when the world was not as technologically advanced as it is now. So it takes us back that our brain is still living, the ancient part of our brain is still living back to the time when we were hunter-gatherers. So that part of the brain is always active and trying to keep us out of danger, trying to keep us out of unfamiliar zones. Alright, so that's the ancient brain. Now coming to the mastery brain, which keeps on learning every day, which keeps on developing every day. So when the mastery brain learns something new, it wants to implement. But the ancient brain doesn't like that, because for the ancient brain, that thing could be dangerous because it's an unknown territory. So this is why, this explains beautifully why we are so scared to try something new. Because when we try something new, our mastery brain is excited and wants to go for it. But our ancient brain is trying to pull us back because it feels that we are going towards danger. So in this process, there's a hormone which gets released, which is called cortisol, which is the fear hormone, because of which we get frightened and scared of trying new things. So what can we do about it? In order for our ancient brain to accept something which is unfamiliar, we have to make it a habit, which is where the 5AC, which is 5 a.m. club, comes into action. So now let's talk about something which is called a habit installation protocol. A habit installation protocol is a process where you take something new, which is something maybe you have never tried, and you make it a habit. So you form a new habit. Habit installation protocol is a process of 66 days, which is roughly 9 weeks, and is divided into 3 parts of 22 days each. Stage 1, Stage 2 and Stage 3. So Stage 1 is the destruction stage, the first 22 days, where you destroy an old habit and implement a new habit. So where you destroy oversleeping, where you destroy getting up late, and implement the new habit of waking up early at 5 a.m. in the morning when everybody is asleep. So this is the destruction phase. This is probably one of the most toughest phases. Stage 2 is the installation phase, which is the second 22-day period. Here you will feel more confused, you will feel more frustrated, and you will want to give up. Don't. Continue. Which brings us to stage number 3, integration, which is the last 22 days of the process. Things will become easier, and to the point where when you touch the 66-day mark, the habit will then become an automatic process. You don't have to put in as much as effort that you had to put in on day 1, on day 22, or even on day 44, right? After the 66th day, it'll become an automatic process. You will start waking up early without, maybe even needing your alarm clock. And to be honest, the reason why I really like this book is because I used to, without reading the book, I had done this entire process before. Obviously, I did not do it as methodically as the book has taught me right now. But if you have followed my, old vlogs, I'll put it up in the link. I have a morning routine where I used to wake up early in the morning at 4:30, 5. Very, very easy. And I'm not an early riser. And after a certain period of time, it became automatic. So now I'm going to use these techniques and get back into the game, because now I know how important it is right now. And so now it's going to be more easier because I know what and how to implement with the perfect scientific knowledge of it. Alright. Moving ahead. Now let's go about how do we form this habit. Now we know that a habit takes around 66 days to form. How do we form the daily habit? So we form the daily habit, something which he calls as the lifestyle habit arc. Comprises of 3 steps, or you can say 4 steps. The first step is the trigger. So the trigger is something which wakes you up in the morning, right? So it could be an old school alarm clock, and in the book it is mentioned not to use your phone as an alarm because it's technology, and early in the morning you don't want to touch your phone. So have an old school alarm clock, or maybe ask someone to wake you up. But yeah, let's see what we can do about that. So he said that we need to use an old school alarm clock for the trigger. Next comes the ritual, which is the 20-20-20 method. Now we're gonna go about it after this entire thing is done. We'll move forward with the 20-20-20 method. The reward. So the reward is where after you wake up, you do your morning ritual. Then while waking up or after this entire thing is done, you reward yourself later in the day. Now you can use this as a trigger in the morning as well. So your reward could be an afternoon nap. It could be buying yourself something which you've been wanting to buy. Maybe going out for a movie, like treating yourself to something because you have successfully done something which you needed to do and which was tough. That's the reward. And the fourth is repetition. You need to repeat this cycle over and over and over again daily for 66 days minimum. Now let's go to the morning ritual, which is the 20-20-20 formula. 20-20-20 formula means that from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. you have divided your entire time into 3 parts. 20 minutes each. First 20 minutes, which is from 5 a.m. to 5:20 a.m. is called move. So in that 20 minutes, you need to exercise. You need to pump up your muscles. You need to do some high energy exercises so that you snap out your sleep, and you need to sweat. So another reason for this is because when you exercise in the morning during this victory hour, we call this the victory hour from 5 to 6 a.m. During this victory hour, your brain releases BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is something which repairs your brain cells so you can think better and process faster. So you need to wake up in the morning and exercise. So you can maybe sleep in your workout clothes. Maybe if you want to go for a run, you can keep your shoes nearby your bed or your door. That could be one of the things which makes you easy to optimize your time. So the next part of the 20-20-20 formula, the second 20 minute from 5:20 to 5:40 is reflect. So in this period of time, you need to maintain a journal where you need to write down your goals for the day, your plans and commitments for the day. You need to meditate, you need to practice gratitude, pray, and you need to plan out your ideal day. How will your ideal day look like? You need to write those down in that journal. Which brings us to the last 20 minutes of the 20-20-20 formula, which is from 5:40 to 5:60, which is called grow. So the book focuses a lot not only on waking up in the morning, but what you actually do when you wake up in the morning. So after the exercise is done, after journaling, the meditation, the gratitude practice is done, you need to study. So in the last 20 minutes, you will study, read books, you will study courses. You can study, listen to some podcasts. Now let's talk about some work strategies. The first thing, when you wake up in the morning, a lot of people have a habit of fiddling with their phones, consuming some news, reading the newspaper, watching TV, blah, blah, blah. None of it will work. You're not supposed to do any of that. No distraction. Remember, no distraction. Wake up in the morning, exercise. That's the first thing. After the 20-20-20 method is done, you need to optimize more of your day. You can use a few of these formulas. The first formula is 90-90-1 rule, which means that for 90 days, in the first 90 minutes of your day, you will concentrate on that one major impactful activity without any distractions. So when you sit for work, first 90 minutes, you will concentrate on one major activity. Next, we talk about the 60-10 method. The book focuses a lot on work-sleep ratio. It says that in order for the brain to work and for the brain muscles to develop, you need to have a proper work-sleep, work-rest ratio. It means that you cannot be sleep deprived. You have to sleep for an optimum 7.5 hours. It's not only about the quantity but about the quality of your sleep which matters. And oversleeping is also bad, right? So don't oversleep for 9 hours. Coming to the work-rest ratio, after the 90-90-1 rule is done, the second part of your work has to be done in 60-10 method, which means that you work productively for 60 minutes and then you take a refuel for 10 minutes. So for 10 minutes, you can take a walk, you can, listen to some music, you can eat something, just take a 10-minute break from your work. And another thing which you can also implement is called this 2WW, which is the second wing workout. So after your work is done, you need to go for a second round of a workout. It could be swimming, it could be walk, it could be yoga, it could be something very minute, but you need to put this exercising thing in your routine twice a day, early in the morning and then after work. A few things we need to keep in mind, which is the pre-sleep routine. A lot of people cannot wake up in the morning early because they sleep late at night. And I know this because when I used to wake up pretty early in the morning, I would hit the bed by 11, max to max by 12. And just because I would wake up early in the morning, I could not even stretch beyond that point. So in order for you to wake up early, you need to sleep early. So you need to have a pre-sleep routine for that, which means that before you sleep, get yourself out of that technology zone, the digital zone. Keep your phones aside, keep your phones in another room or in another place, not on the bed. Spend some time with family, read some books, be in a good frame of mind when you sleep. Practice gratitude, be in a happy zone and sleep early. And in order for you to work out at 5 a.m. in the morning, you need to wake up around 4:30 to 4:45. All right. Now there's something called a traffic university. It's a term, he says. So in order for you to be more productive throughout the day, we travel a lot, right? So when you travel, you can, instead of sitting and maybe wasting your time at that point of time, you can use the travel time to consume some podcasts. You can make some notes. I personally do that. I edit my videos sitting in the auto and the bus. I write down some goals, or I think about some ideas and I write that down. So I use that travel time productively. Another concept is called the 60-minute student. So you need to study 60 minutes per day minimum. Every day, make sure that you're studying something. Study something in your industry, study something about psychology, about new products, about new technologies. Keep yourself updated. 60 minutes study every day. And the last is called WDS, which is a weekly design system. So every Sunday, you sit down for 30 minutes minimum, plan your next week ahead. So you plan what you're going to do on Monday, you plan your 90-91 rule, you plan your 61 method, you plan your entire week on Sunday. Alright, so that was a lot. So I'm sure your brain got jammed. So what you can do is you can rewind and replay this video again. That's the reason why I have made these, figures which you can easily see and copy. And just so you know that the habit installation protocol, which is a 66-day method or process, is not only related to waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning. It is a proper habit installation thing. So you can apply it to any habit that you want to make an habit of. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Anyway, so right now I'm using that habit thing for my book reading series. So we're in the 3rd week right now, which means we're almost touching that first 22-day mark. So that's a great thing for us. What else you can do is, after you have done one habit successfully, use that energy to again, bring about a new habit in yourself. So if you have conquered waking up in the morning, after the 66-day mark, obviously that becomes a routine for you, that becomes an automation for you. Now use that entire theory for another habit, to improve yourself again. And talking about habits, I have today is my friend's reception party, so I'm already dressed up. I'll just put a coat and I'll move in about maybe an hour or so. So I had to upload this video yesterday, but because of his wedding, and because two days I kind of took an off because I had to go and attend the functions, I couldn't do it. But I knew that we have to be dedicated, right? The discipline is number one. So yesterday also I went on live. Today I edited the live video. Then I again sat with the notes of the book for today. I made these small, images, snippets, so I could put it up here and you guys could review it. I sat with the video, I made the review. Now I'm going to edit it, upload it, and it will be done before I leave. So why I told you this is not because I want to show off or something. It's because to tell you that even I'm using this habit protocol system to build this habit of reading, and despite of other distractions. So if you want to, you can do it too. And soon I'm going to implement the 5 a.m. technique as well, which is waking up early at 5 a.m. I used to do it before, I'll do it again. And I'll be sharing stories of that on my Instagram stories as well. So I hope you give me a follow. And before I go, I'll just let you know that the most amazing thing happened. I actually was confused whether I should review this book or I should review another book, which is this one, How to Win and Influence People. So I was reading almost both the books simultaneously, and I put both, like I clicked an image of both and I put it up on my stories at Robin Sharma. And then he replied and he DM'd me back and he says that how about the right one, right? And I'll put it up here, you can see the chat. It was so amazing, and just because of that one reply, I was going to review actually this other book, but just because of that I reviewed this book. So I'm so happy I did that. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you again next week. Subscribe if you haven't already, and follow my Instagram stories, coming up live every week and bringing you videos every Monday and Saturday. See ya.